This is chapter 40 woo, of World's Longest Suicide Note. I'm Roger, and I'm suicidal lately more than I really want to be. But even though I am suicidal, I am not a mental health professional of any kind. Zero kindage as far as that goes. And I will apologize. I'm just kind of scattered, trying to find some equilibrium. So I make a lot of hand movements, and I'm gonna seem fairly manic, and so. But you'll notice I have a new painting going, and I talked about doing another series of things that people may want to buy at some point. And then I was thinking, like, what did people actually want to buy? And I don't know. I have no idea. What people like to buy and hang up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going back to some fundamentals. This is an old advertising for a vacuum cleaner. And when I was young, I think my first real experience with any kind of art or design was advertising. Just seeing that and appreciating the colors and the shapes and the story. It's always seemed fascinating to me. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of like redo some of these old advertisements, but with a little twist to them. So anyway, we'll talk more about that as we go. This is another big canvas, because I don't like doing small canvases because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and it's just hard, and my hands don't work. I can't it's my thing. It's a me problem. Anyway, that's what we're gonna be doing. I haven't really got paints out for me to paint while I'm talking, so I'll do that. I'll do more painting next time. What am I even doing here? What am I even... Yeah, I want to talk about relationships a little bit. That's kind of been a word that's on my mind. And relationships are good. I think they're one of the most important things that we can have in this world, in this existence. They definitely can make things far easier or far harder, really, depending on the relationship. But specifically, I want to talk about relationships with regards, and I'll do this a couple times so it looks like I'm doing something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Obviously, if you've watched 40 of these videos, and if you still think that I know what the hell I'm doing, we should, I have no idea. So, anyway, relationships and how they relate to suicide and severe mental illness. There's a different little nuance. There's nuances with it. But as always, I say, we need relationships. We need people in our lives that understand us and that get us and that accept us for who we are. The problem is, a lot of times we don't talk about those things, and because we're afraid, and some of this will be about non-familial relationships, meaning that if you have family, those are kind of the relationships that you have. They have to help you. They have to be there for you to a degree, provided you haven't burned the bridges, which is a challenge sometimes, is in trying to understand those things. And I'm gonna do an episode about burning bridges, because that's something that happens. Sometimes we're aware, and a lot of times we're not. So I'm talking about the relationships with others outside of family, that because those are more of the relationships that we choose, that we have a choice to either take part in, or not. And so those are the relationships that really enhance our lives, or if it's a bad situation, don't. But the number one thing is they're different, because for the most part we may have opened the door and to what we deal with a little bit, but there's a real chance that relationship isn't aware, because we haven't been fully open and honest with who we are and what we deal with. And then once the truth comes out, how are they going to handle that? And that puts a ton of pressure on us. I mean, that's one thing that relationships in our lives, the ones that we really want to nurture and develop, we really tend to act like it's a job interview. That's how we're acting. And I totally get it, because I've done that for most of my life. It's like, you find somebody that you kind of think is cool, or that you connect with their energy or whatever. And I'm talking about any kind of relationship. I'm not talking about romantic, or it could be a business, it could be friends, no matter what. Any type and kind of relationship that's non-familial. I'm at the stage in my life now where I'm able to say exactly who I am and what my purpose is, and people understand it. And if I don't have to feel, I don't feel at this stage in my life that I have to adjust my energy to meet anyone else's in order to have a relationship. And that's a good place to be. I mean, honestly, that's, I think, where most people, should be or want to be or working towards that. And for me, I think it's just I've reached a level of an age where the it's more important to be honest than have the relationship. To live transparent than to have the relationship. If I have to choose between being myself and a relationship, I'm going to choose myself, because the other side sucks. When you're not open, honest, and you deal with things like severe mental illness and suicide, and you don't mention those, that's just a shoe that's waiting to drop. And at some point, it's like when you're pregnant. I mean, I've never been pregnant, so I'm not speaking from, and I'm not one of the people who, one of the guys who said, talking about when my wife was pregnant. Oh, we're pregnant. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing any of the hard work. I am a cheerleader. I am going to go to the store and buy pickles and bologna. I'm a support person. We weren't pregnant. My wife was pregnant. So credit where credit's due on that situation. Shit. What was I talking about? Oh, relationships, obviously. No, but being transparent, it prevents the anxiety of waiting for that shoe to drop. Because in my experience, 100% of the time, that shoe will drop, and it will come out. That cat will get out of the bag. And I'm just going to step back because I can, I guess. I don't know what either of those mean. Waiting for the shoe to drop, the other shoe to drop. Well, what happened if, was there another one that happened? And why are the shoes dropping? I've never waited for a shoe to drop or thought that was a bad thing. Is it going to drop on your head? And then the cat's out of the bag. Why was the cat in the bag? And why would you think that putting a cat in the bag would be anything other than difficult? And anyway. So I don't know those things. I say them. I don't really know them. But oh God, I'm the worst. Because then I took that little detour. The train took the little pull out, and it's trying to get back on the main line. And I was talking about relationships and how you need to be transparent. Check it. Okay. Yeah, because we have enough anxiety. We have enough stress. We don't have to worry about that. When they find out, what are they going to say? What are they going to do? I say get it out of the way immediately. Every relationship I have, that's significant, of any kind of significance, that we spend any amount of time together, they know that I suffer with severe mental illness, and they know that I'm suicidal because I tell them. I don't make a big deal out of it. I don't it's not like, Sarah McLachlan sings in the background with a violin while I'm telling the story and I'm looking for sympathy or anything. I'm not. I am not willing to invest any time in a relationship without them knowing that. This way, if they understand and they choose to stay or to maintain some level of relationship, then that's cool. They understand where I'm coming from. I understand where they're coming from. And that's the basis of a relationship. Perfect. So that's the whole idea, but they offer some pressure too, because and there's a coin, pressure and support. And there's support on the one side. When you tell someone and you have a relationship and you're having a rough time, well, you have an ally. They become allies, and they're able to support you and encourage you. On the other side is pressure too. Is sometimes relationship. We have to maintain those, and so it's not also about just going out and getting a bunch of relationships, because those things they take some time, they take some energy, and if you want to make them better and stronger, you have to actually put time into that and energy. It can't be a one-way street. You want to have a relationship, you want to have an open relationship where you can talk to someone and freely communicate. That also means you have to listen. That also means that you have to be present for them. And so understanding that relationships are not one way. That's not a relationship. So understanding that yes, we all need relationships, but we also need to value them and to honor them and to put the time in so that our relationships feel that they are validated and heard. So it's not just finding somebody who will listen to me or somebody who will help me. It's developing a friendship, a understanding that we're in this together. So, but they're very good. I mean, and in the dark times, they could be challenging, but also life saving. Because those voices that call out to us when we're in our despair make us realize that our energy is important, and there are people relying on us to stay here and to continue our work and our effort to make this world far less stigmatizing. So anyway, that's a few thoughts that I had. I'm going to be painting next time, I guess. I mean, I got to get my act together a little bit. But this relationship, you understand where I'm coming from. And that, sometimes thinking things through and preparation is not my jam. And so, I just got to figure out which section I'm doing next. At least do some pre-planning and think about it. But just stay with me. We'll bring it around. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you value your relationships. And if it feels like you don't have relationships, get out there. I mean, don't like walk the streets at night or anything looking for relationships. But look for them where you are, and if you have one, take care of it. So, and keep fighting. Understand that we are all in this together, and the only way out is through, and the only way through is together. All right, I love you, value you, and I appreciate you watching this and being there for me. All right, take care. Keep fighting.